Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Professor Levent Parnas, Vice Rector of the university, responsible from research, and Professor of Mechanical Engineering at the same time. I'm pleased to welcome you all to TED University to award the title of Honorary Doctorate to Dr. Armin Laschet. I am honored to be the master of today's ceremony. Before starting our ceremony, I kindly invite you to a moment of silence for the founder of the Republic of Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, and his comrades in arms, and then to sing national anthems of both countries. Please join me in welcoming Rector İhsan Sabuncuoğlu to the stage to deliver the opening speech of the ceremony.
Good afternoon. The Ambassador and Head of United Nations Delegation to Turkey, Mr. Nicholas Meyer-Landrut, the Ambassador of Germany, Jürgen Schulz, Founder and Chairman of Board of the Trustees of TED University, Mr. Selçuk Pehlivanoğlu, distinguished recipient of honorary doctorate degree, Dr. Amir Lashet, rectors, deans, colleagues, students, and alumni, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to TED University's first honorary doctoral award ceremony. We are really delighted to host this event in honor of Dr. Amir Lashet. As you know, Germany and Turkey are two friendly countries with mutual interests, to some extent dependency. Their strong ties lie in many areas, including economic, military, cultural, and social relations. As you know, the largest Turkish community in Europe live in Germany. We have lots of bilateral agreements between these two countries. Today, we are not only honoring Dr. Lashet, and our honoring is not all about highlighting the strong ties between these two countries, but also about encouraging the others to follow this in creating research and science collaborations in science and technology. As you know, universities have three missions: education, research, and societal impact. As a university that comes from a well-established education community, almost 100 years old Turkish Education Association, we put special emphasis on third mission of the university's societal impact by integrating education and research. In this context, we have very strong commitment to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In fact, it is our ambition that the students graduating from our institution can cope with global challenges and dilemmas facing us, because we firmly believe in the mission of a sustainable future. Currently, as a TED University, we lead research projects and initiatives focused on disaster management, migration movements, and climate changes. Through advanced studies of these issues, along with building ecosystems and community engagement, we aim to effectively address these challenges. According to our university rules and regulations, title of honorary doctorate is given to the individuals who have made outstanding services and significant contributions to the development of science and technology, art, sports, international relations, culture, and social life in line with the core values of TED University. After a short while, our Dean of Faculty of Economics and Administrative Sciences is going to read the basic motivation for bestowing this honorary degree on Dr. Lashet. But before that, I am very pleased to say that Dr. Lashet already deserved this honorary degree because of his outstanding contributions and achievements to deal with immigrants and minorities problems. Hence, I congratulate him. Thank you.
Thank you, Rector Sabuncuoğlu, for your speech. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Selçuk Pehlivanoğlu member of the Presidential Education and Teaching Policies Board, and the chairman of the Board of Trustees of TED University, to the floor to convey his speech.
I think I have to start with good afternoon. So, esteemed protocol, Mr. Lashet, the ambassadors, the rectors, and members of TED University. As the president of Turkish Education Association, I extend my warmest greetings to each and every one of you who have graced this event for your presidency. It is my honor to privilege to welcome you all to this occasion, where we gather to celebrate the conferment of an honorary doctorate upon Mr. Amin Lashet by TED University. As you know, this is the first, maybe not unique, but the first doctorate. This is an honor for us to give it to you. Today, I'm proud of the presenting institution with a rich history dating back 96 years, spanning from traditional to the future, founded under the directives of the visionary leader Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. For almost a century, Turkish Education Association, TED, has been serving faithfully to its mission to ensure that every child in our nation receives not only the high-quality education, but also equal educational opportunities. Through the network of TED schools and alumni across the country, our association has pioneered participates that serve as an exemplars for regional development. Our unique scholarship program has provided individual support to 50,000 students, empowering them to overcome impossibilities. In this time of crisis and disasters, we have also bolstered social cohesion and well-being through targeted efforts. Additionally, our think tank, TEDMEM, plays a pivotal role in shaping education policies. And lastly, TED University serves as a compass in the light of science, guiding our path forward with the illuminating power of knowledge. Today, we come together to recognize and honor Mr. Amin Lashet for his remarkable contributions to the fields of politics, integration, and academia. Mr. Lashet's dedication for fostering dialogue, understanding, and cooperation between the diverse communities has left the indelible mark on our society. His efforts to promote integration and inclusivity, particularly within the Turkish community in Germany, have not gone unnoticed. As will be seen when his biography is shared in a moment, Mr. Lashet has worked tirelessly to bridge cultural diversities and fosters a sense of belonging for all the citizens. His advocacy for a more inclusive and equitable society serves as an inspiration to us all. In conclusion, I would like to say once again, extend my heartfelt congratulations to Mr. Amin Lashet on this well-deserved honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pehlivanoğlu, for your speech. Now, I'm honored to introduce our next guest, Mr. Jürgen Schulz, German ambassador to Ankara, to the floor to deliver his speech.
Distinguished Rector Sabonjuolu, Distinguished Chairman of Foundation Council, Mr. Pehlivanoğlu, distinguished rectors, professors, deans, students, alumni, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and in particular, dear Amin Lashet. It is a pleasure, a privilege, and an extraordinary honor for me to be part of today's award ceremony. Today, TED University Ankara is honoring one of our most outstanding German politicians and one of the most remarkable bridge builders between Germany and Turkey, Armin Laschet. For more than 30 years, Armin Laschet has been serving Germany, Europe, and our relations with Turkey in an extraordinary manner. He has done so at a wide array of political levels, from the municipal in Aachen to the European level, from the federal state level of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, inter alia as the first ever minister for integration, and then later as minister-president of the largest in terms of population of our 16 federal states, to the federal level, both in Bonn and in Berlin. The list of positions he has held over those years is, I'm afraid, too long to be mentioned here. So let me just name just a few. Let me simply mention his many, many years serving as member of the German Bundestag and the fact that he was also chairman of the Christian Democratic Union. Throughout this impressive political career, Armin Laschet has been demonstrating all the qualities of true leadership and statesmanship. And I would mention three of those: vision, backbone, and stamina. On vision, his vision has been very much determined by his Christian faith and the way this faith has influenced his political thinking. In line with this faith and with this thinking, his priorities were always crystal clear. People first, respect first, humanity first, and cooperation, understanding, and reconciliation first. These priorities have always been non-negotiable for Armin Laschet. On backbone, he demonstrated remarkable backbone, particularly on those issues that are so dear to his heart that he would never have even thought about sacrificing or compromising on them for political gains or short-term considerations. Let me just mention some of them. Our democratic principles as framed by our German constitution, the Grundgesetz. The economic and social model of what we call our social market economy. The friendship between Germany and France is also extremely dear to his heart, not least because where he's coming from his birth, his hometown, his upbringing. Reconciliation with Israel, also very high on his agenda, and the goal of European integration. And last but certainly not least, to further develop and intensify our cooperation and partnership with Turkey. All of these have been at the very core of his political engagement. On the third and last quality I refer to, stamina. In a very long political career, Armin Laschet has seen, I think it is fair to say, quite a few ups and downs. But that has never discouraged him. And particularly when the going got tough, Armin Laschet never lost his political or moral compass, but always stayed on course. And when facing difficult challenges, redoubled his efforts to achieve the goals he truly believed in. Ladies and gentlemen, before closing, let me briefly mention one more thing. During his time as Germany's first ever state minister for integration in North Rhine-Westphalia, Armin Laschet strongly advocated for policies of integration through equal chances of education and opportunities. his empathy and support for migrant communities, and particularly the German-Turkish community, has made him a true bridge builder between our people and our cultures. I would like to mention one example, pars pro toto, so to say. It is through his initiative that the state of North Rhine-Westphalia started and now yearly awards the so-called Mevlüde Genç Medal of Honor. Now, Mevlüde Genç, just to recall, in 1993, Mevlüde Genç had lost 5 members of her family in a racist arson attack on her home in the city of Solingen. After that attack, she became one of the most outspoken advocates for peace and reconciliation. She was a wife, a mother, and a grandmother who refused to hate, even in the hours of her greatest loss and greatest pain. She was a role model and an incredibly impressive individual. Sadly, and that word is not strong enough, as many of you probably know, she passed away on October 30th in 2022. I had the honor to attend her funeral service in her home village of Mercimek Köy, and the privilege of getting to know her incredible family. I mention this for 2 reasons. Firstly, because I know that the shining example of Mevlüde Genç means a lot to Armin Laschet too. And secondly, because I understand that the award that TED University is bestowing on Armin Laschet today intends to honor those who, like she did in the past, have performed outstanding services towards reconciliation, tolerance, and social solidarity. In closing, I would like to once again recognize Armin Laschet's personal achievements, but also highlight the great value of our German-Turkish friendship. I would like to once again express my gratitude to Rector Sabuncuoğlu and TED University for the vision in recognizing the outstanding achievements of today's honorary recipient. And dear Armin Laschet, I sincerely congratulate you on this highly deserved award. I understand that this is the very first honorary doctorate TED University has ever awarded, and I am delighted and proud to know that you are the recipient. Thank you.
We thank Mr. Schulz for his speech. Dear guests, at this point, I would like to invite Ms. Zeynep Akın, a colleague of mine from the university. She will share with you the biography of Dr. Armin Laschet.
Good afternoon. Firstly, welcome everyone, and I once congratulate you. Dr. Armin Laschet was born on 18 February 1961 in Aachen. He is married and father to 3 children. Mr. Laschet studied law and public policy with a focus on international law at the Ludwig Maximilian University of Munich and the University of Bonn. He was trained as a journalist and worked as a freelance journalist for Bavarian radio stations and for the television program Bayerisches Fernsehen. Furthermore, he was an advisor for the President of the German Parliament, the Bundestag. From 1994 to 1998, Dr. Armin Laschet was member of the Bundestag, where he served primarily on the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Committee on Economic Cooperation and Development. He was elected to the European Parliament in 1999. There, he focused on foreign policy and security policy, and was parliamentary rapporteur for the relations between the European Union and the United Nations. From 2005 to 2010, he was Minister for Intergenerational Affairs, Family, Women, and Integration of the State of North Rhine-Westphalia, making him Germany's first integration minister. During his tenure, he earned a high reputation, especially among the Turkish community, the largest immigrant group in Germany. With his visions, he shaped the first German Integration Summit under Chancellor Angela Merkel, as well as the German Islam Conference, initiated by former Federal Minister of the Interior, Wolfgang Schäuble. In his book, The Aufsteiger Republic, he presented a conception of Germany in which every child, regardless of his or her background or religion, can make it up the social ladder. Opponents of his policy denounced him as Turkish Armin, which only increased his respect among people with Turkish origins. He was among the founding members of the Turkish-German Academic Platform at the University of Cologne in 2006. He remains a member of the association's board to this day. As of 2010, he was also Minister of Federal Affairs, Europe and Media of North Rhine-Westphalia. Dr. Laschet was a member of the State Parliament of North Rhine-Westphalia, the Landtag, from 2010 to 2021, and Chairman of the CDU, State Association of North Rhine-Westphalia, and Federal Deputy Chairman of the CDU from 2012 to 2021. From 2013 to 2017, he was Chairman of the CDU Parliamentary Group in the Landtag of North Rhine-Westphalia. He served as Chairman of the CDU of Germany from 2021 and was Chancellor candidate for the elections. Since 2021, he has been a member of the Bundestag and member of the Foreign Affairs Committee responsible for Russia, Turkey, Israel, and the states of the Abraham Accords. He is also the Vice President of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe and member of the Advisory Board of Culture Academy Tarabya in Istanbul. Dr. Laschet was Minister President of North Rhine-Westphalia from 2017 to 2021. During his term of office, he endowed the Mevlüde Genç Prize to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Solingen arson attack in the presence of its namesake, as well as the German Chancellor Angela Merkel and the Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlüt Çavuşoğlu. He has been a lecturer at 2 awarded excellence universities in Germany. From 1999 to 2015, Armin Laschet was a lecturer for Europe and International Politics at RWTH Aachen University and lectures since 2021 at Rheinische Friedrich Wilhelm University on International Politics. Furthermore, he is president of the Bonn Academy for Research and Teaching of Practical Politics, an institute of the prestigious University of Bonn. As Minister President, he was chairman of the Board of Trustees of the North Rhine-Westphalian Academy of Science and the Arts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Akın. Now I would like to invite Professor Levent Akdeniz, Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Administrative Sciences, to give his reading on the motivation for bestowing the honorary doctorate degree.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and I'd like to welcome you all for this important event. And I'd like to congratulate Dr. Armin Laschet for his well-deserved award. Armin Laschet has been involved in politics over 3 decades, serving across different tiers of governments, including local, regional, national, and European spheres. He has served as a member of the Bundestag and the European Parliament, and he has been Minister President of Germany's most populous state, North Rhine-Westphalia. Throughout his career, Dr. Laschet has championed liberal democracy, the social market economy, European integration, and the integration of migrants in Germany. He has also repeatedly warned and stood firmly against extreme right-wing parties such as AfD, emphasizing the importance of preserving democratic values and constitutional democracy. Dr. Laschet's upbringing in the city of Aachen, near the borders of Belgium and the Netherlands, instilled in him an early appreciation for European unity and cross-border cooperation. His support for open borders and European integration has been a consistent theme in his political endeavors. Dr. Laschet's tenure as Germany's first Minister for Intergenerational Affairs, Family, Women and Integration underscores his commitment to fostering social cohesion and promoting the integration of migrants. His plan of action for integration focused on initiatives such as early childhood education, language training, and social coexistence programs aimed at improving integration outcomes. For Dr. Laschet, education is ultimately the key to integration. Dr. Laschet's vocal opposition to extreme right-wing ideologies, his defense of democracy, and his advocacy for the protection of democratic values have earned him recognition and respect. Another compelling justification for awarding Dr. Laschet an honorary doctorate is his consistent dedication to migrant integration, his support for citizens with Turkish heritage, his focus on education and advancement, and his appreciation of a diverse populace. In summary, Dr. Armin Laschet's long-standing commitment to democracy, European integration, social cohesion, and the integration of migrants, along with his notable contributions to political discourse and policy making, make him a well-deserving candidate for the honorary doctorate conferred by TED University. It is our privilege and delight to welcome Dr. Laschet into the TED family. Thank you.
I thank the Dean for his reading. Professor Akdeniz, please allow me to ask you to stay on the stage for the ceremony. I kindly request now to Professor Sabuncuoğlu to the stage one more time. He and Professor Akdeniz together will present the honorary doctorate degree to Dr. Laschet. Now I kindly invite Dr. Armin Laschet to the stage to receive his honorary degree. Please. Dear guests, and now with great pleasure, it's my honor and privilege to kindly request Dr. Armin Laschet to deliver his speech.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rector of the TED University, Mr. Dean, Mr. Chairman of the Board, Mr. Ambassador of the European Union, Mr. Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany, thanks for your friendly words. Dear students, dear colleagues, this is a very moving moment for me to be honored by this university. And I know that TED University is, as university, a young institution. But the idea of TED, going back to Kemal Atatürk, the idea that by education you can develop a country and you can develop every human being, this is a very important idea which I followed all my life, and I can feel the spirit of a modern and contemporary university in the capital of Turkey, and this is why I can understand that the TED University ranks first among foundation universities in Ankara in Times Higher Education Impact Ranking. It's good to hear that the TED University is deepening the ties with Europe, with Germany, and we had some concrete projects we discussed in the afternoon, in the early afternoon, and I think we can increase our cooperation in different fields. There are two principles the university follows: human first and liberal education. These are two important things. We know in some countries, politicians say, my country first. You say human first. This is a difference. Because especially in Germany, in our schools, we have 50% of the children in the primary schools with a migration background. So the parents are born outside Germany, in Russia, in Syria, the biggest group, of course, in Turkey, or in other member states of the European Union. And it was mentioned, when I became the first Minister of Integration, the first question could be, it was in the year 2005. Why in 2005 the first Minister for Integration? The first migrants to Germany came in the year 1955. First group were Italians. And then people from Balkan came to Germany. And then in 1961, there was the big agreement between Konrad Adenauer and the then Turkish president to say, yes, we invite Turkish people to come to Germany to work in Germany. Guest workers, we called it. I always say this is a typical German word. Normally, guests don't work. But guest workers mean they come and they go back after 3 years. This was the idea. It was not a migration idea. It was the idea they come and they go back. And today, the right-wing parties discuss it. Yes, all the Turks came to Germany like an invasion. No, it was not an invasion. There were special companies who went to Turkey and told the people, please come to Germany. We use workers. We need workers. And to explain somebody who is living in Istanbul or in other beautiful cities, in Izmir or where else in Turkey, to tell young people, you have now to work 1,000 meters under the city to take coal from to work in the coal mines. 1,000 meters, hard work.
Yes, it's a big step, and you need people who are willing to do this. And this was the success of the German Wirtschaftswunder, economy wonder after the Second World War, people from other countries working in Germany. And to have respect for this important issue, this is what I tried in 2005, 50 years ago, to start. What we didn't start was education for the children in the 80s and in the 70s. 1973, the then Chancellor Willy Brandt stopped guest workers because he said we have now unemployment, so we don't need more. But in this moment, the best thing would have been to decide, now we start with education for the children. And nobody did it. And in the 80s, nobody did it. And it was because everybody said it's not necessary that they learn German, because once they go back to Turkey. No, they stay till today. And therefore, we have now to work on this idea. And of course, we have some stories which was not successful. And the right-wing parties only speak about those young people who were not successful, who were probably criminal or what else. But I spoke always about those who were successful, who are part of our society, and who did a lot for us. And I mentioned one example. Shahin Al-Bayrak knows him. It is Uğur Şahin. Uğur Şahin is the son of a guest worker. He came to Cologne to work in the Ford automobile factory, and he was the first child in the year 1984 on a college, as a Turkish child on a college. Normally there were on other schools, he was on the college, and he was successful at the college, and at the end he founded the company BioNTech, who produced the Pfizer vaccine. This is a Turkish guest worker's child who produced a vaccine for the whole world, Uğur Şahin, together with his wife. And he's now working on vaccines against cancer. This is his main idea. This is one example. Second example is Shahin Al-Bayrak. He is one of the most prominent artificial intelligence professors in Germany, Turkish roots. I don't speak about the footballers, because you have different ones. Mesut Özil now is back in Turkey, and it's very close to Turkish policy. But Gündoğan is the captain of the German team. So German team at the moment is not so successful. So it's not an honorary to be captain of the German team. But we will have the European competition in a few months. And if Germany will win in their own country, the winner who gets the medal is a Turkish young boy who learned in Germany German, and who is the son of a guest worker. These are the success stories we have to tell, and then people change the mind. And in the coal mines, my father was as well a coal mine worker. 1,000 meters under the earth, nobody asked, where are you from? Or which religion do you have? Or does your religion fit with Germany? This is a debate of since years. Is the Islam part of the German society, yes or no? Yes, of course he is, because millions of Muslims are living in the country. But in the coal mines, you don't ask this question. You ask, can I trust you? Are you there when there is a problem? This is the main question, and this is the human question, and this fits to the idea of this university. And let me mention, you mentioned all my life, so it's not necessary to repeat it, but I will mention two things. One thing is, and when I see Kemal Atatürk, I think every time about it. He founded in 1923 the Turkish Republic, a modern Turkish republic orientated to Europe, with a lot of big steps and things how the society should change. If we see today how difficult it is to change a society, this was a very modern and a very charismatic person. But 10 years after this new, small state was founded, all of Europe cooperated with Hitler. And all of Europe delivered Jews to the Nazi system. But the young Turkish Republic invited professors from Germany, which were expelled because they were Jews. They gave them asylum in Turkey. One of the most prominent was Ernst Reuter, later governing mayor of Berlin, who were here, and after the war he went back to Berlin. To tell that Turkey was a state where Germans get asylum, I think could be as well a good signal to the young people who hear sometimes anti-Semitic speeches or something else. Your country, the country of Kemal Atatürk, gave asylum to Jews in a very difficult time, and they went into conflict with the most powerful man, with Adolf Hitler, and were able to do this from 1933 until the end of the war. This was very important. And from Germany, you mentioned Mevlüt Genç. That's the second thing I will say. A very impressive woman. In the year 1990-93, after German unification, we had a lot of racistic attacks against Turkish houses. Houses were burning where families lived in, and the most important catastrophe was the attack in Solingen. On the 29th of May 93, 5 children died when a right-wing young man, 17, 18 years old, threw fire into the house. And everybody thought on the next day there will be demonstrations and there will be violence from the Turks because they thought they are again burning us. This was the atmosphere. And then Mevlüt Genç, on the next day, went to public. She lost 5 children, ancestors. And she said, this was not the Germans. This was 4 people, 4 criminal right-wing people, but not the Germans. Be quiet, speak together, and she appealed for peace. And this was courageous from a woman who lost 5 children. And I told the German society very often, whenever something happens with violence of a Turkish boy, don't say the Turks. Take Mevlüt Genç as an example to respect what human beings should be under each other. And then I visited her in Mercimek as well. I was part of her family, and I appreciate that the German ambassador had a special memorial in the German embassy for Mevlüt Genç. We created this Mevlüt Genç medal, and then as well, again, a lot of people said, no, it's not possible. I wanted to do it in the parliament. It's not possible in the parliament because we have discussions with the Kurds, and we don't want to have a Turkish minister there. A lot of reasons why not a Turkish minister should speak in the parliament. And they said, it doesn't matter. We speak about Mevlüt Genç and not about domestic policy in Turkey. And I want to create this medal together with Mevlüt Çavuşoğlu, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, because for Mevlüt Genç it was important to have strong relations to the country where she came from. And the second was Angela Merkel. And she said, we do it, and we did it in a very small room in the State Chancellery. It was very hot. It was in May, 30 degrees. It was not a very, how do you say, you didn't feel very well because it was very hot. And it was very narrow, but we did it to award this great woman. And now every year there's a special award giving to young people who work in the sense of Mevlüt Genç. And I appreciated that Angela Merkel came there. I appreciated that Mevlut, he would like to join us today. He's on the way to Antalya because the president, I think, will be in the region in the next days here. He has to prepare. But this is a very close friend. And yes, this shows Germany and Turkey has a lot of new tasks today. Turkey is very important between Russia and Ukraine. The grain agreement wouldn't be possible without Turkey. And therefore, this is not the end, this is the beginning of a new partnership, of a new friendship between Turkey and Germany. And I thank you very much again for the big honor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Laschet. We wish to express our deepest appreciation to Dr. Armin Laschet and Mrs. Laschet and all our guests who come from various institutions and places around the country and around the globe. We have come to the end of the ceremony. Before leaving, I would like to invite the esteemed ambassadors, Mr. Pehlivanoğlu, our rector, and our protocol guests for a picture ceremony here. And this is, thank you very much.